Welcome back to Visceral, and today we're going to take a look at R.E.M's 2001 Fan Club single. So this summer, I've been going through a lot of old stuff that I have, both some books and records and tapes and music. Some of it I actually have been selling or just giving away to people. And if you're someone like myself who kind of came of age in the 90s, you have a lot of CDs, especially if you're a music fan, because that was the format that people were going to be selling their music in. So I have a lot of compact discs to go through. It's kind of hard to get rid of any of them at this point. I've sold a lot over the ages, stuff that just wasn't that valuable to me or wasn't that important. But if you've gone on eBay recently and tried to sell off some of your old CDs, you might realize that they're not worth a whole lot. In fact, for me, I might as well just keep them for the emotional connection that I have to some of them. And also, I just like having the physical media. I don't personally need to have all of them now be on a vinyl copy or anything like that. I'm pretty content to just have the CD version, which I find generally still sounds better than a lot of streaming services. And one of the things that used to exist in the CD era, and this existed as well in the cassette era and the vinyl era, was a singles club that you can join it for a band that you really liked. I was a really big R.E.M. fan back in the 90s when I was in high school. That was kind of one of the first bands that I really latched onto and tried to go through their back catalog and discover a lot of their music. And I really loved the stuff from the IRS years. In high school, I really loved the stuff that they put out on Warner Brothers, some of those big records that everyone knows. So I was definitely a fan. I went and saw them live maybe in 99 or 98 or something like that. And I then also joined up to their singles club. And the way it would work is that you could join their fan club and they would send out newsletters and information. Remember, this is before the era of the internet. So getting kind of personalized information from the bands was not always easy to come by, especially if you weren't going to be reading lots and lots of magazines that covered these types of bands. So you'd sign up to be part of their fan club. They'd send you a few little things from here to there about upcoming releases or shows that would be dropping. But for R.E.M., every year you got a Christmas gift about Christmas time. And it was generally speaking a piece of music, some kind of recording, as well as some other things. And for whatever reason, I was part of the R.E.M. fan club for a couple of years. This is the only one I have left. I don't know if I sold some of them or I've just lost them in moving from place to place. So I thought, let's actually take a look at this relic from 2001. So I've already said before that this was before the internet was really a big thing. Now, this was 2001, so by this point I actually did have Napster, and I was finding lots and lots of live recordings from bands that I loved. All of a sudden now, the tape trading scene, which used to exist for people who were really interested in hearing the live versions of songs or getting whole shows, used to send people a cassette tape and maybe a couple dollars for shipping, and they'd dub to you. They'd give you a tape of a recording that they had come in contact with. I met someone in Santa Cruz when I lived there for a couple years who was really into that in the 80s and 90s and just had walls and walls of cassette tapes that he had dubbed over time. That's not as necessary anymore in the digital age. I could probably find almost every show that R.E.M. has recorded online at this point. But what's cool about this single was that it came with a couple of different live tracks and some tracks that I really liked. In addition to the CD itself, it also came with a sticker. It came with this nice gatefold kind of chipboard case, and even the sleeve that it was sent to me in was, customized and made by R.E.M. themselves. So it wasn't just some generic envelope. So I thought, let's go ahead and take a look at the two songs that are on this thing. The very first song is Let Me In, and this is, again, a live recording. It was recorded in Mountain View, California on October 21st, 2001.
Nice try. Hey.
The second song that's on here is Find the River, another pretty famous R.E.M. song, and it was recorded in Athens, Georgia, their home base, October 16th, 2001. And And the last thing that really dates this release is that it had a video on it, because again, there was no YouTube. Maybe you can find some really compressed QuickTime file out there of music videos or live versions. So it had a Find the River video of a rehearsal that they did in Athens, Georgia. I'm not going to play that for you here, but it's a pretty cool thing to have on the CD, even though I'm probably never going to play it from there. So that's all for today, guys. If you were ever part of a fan club for a band back in the 90s or 2000s or even earlier, maybe tell us in the comments, what were some of the things that were sent out to you in addition to just some awesome pieces of music that are now a little bit hard to come by. Until next time.